Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. So one of the things that I get asked a lot in the comments from people back in the States, speaking of the subject we're talking about, that's one of my trusty guard dogs right there. Between the dogs, them and the turkey, nothing gets past you on this property, man. They let you know when somebody's coming from half a mile away. So one of the things in the comment section and from people back in the States, actually people all over, one of the things that I get asked the most about is safety in Belize. Is Belize safe for families, for retirees, for part-timers, you know, for anybody that's wanting to come here and make Belize either a permanent home, a vacation home, or just wants to stay here for a prolonged amount of time. You know, and quite a few people that I talk to, every time that we talk about it, we just kind of chuckle amongst ourselves because it's such, like I said, it's just a repetitive question. It's asked over and over and over again. You know, one of the reasons why I think that that question is asked the most is because I think it's ingrained, especially in Americans. You know, American media has a lot to do with how you may see the outside world. If you believe everything you see, not everything you see, but if you believe in everything you hear, you're really never going to get that far. And, you know, even with the state of emergencies that go on in Belize, and I've done some about the crime here, you know, the state of emergencies that happen in Mexico, and every place you go is going to have its problems. Every place that you go is going to have some type of crime. It's not like you go anywhere and there's no crime at all. I mean, we'd be kind of ignorant to think that you are not going to go somewhere else and not experience some type of level of crime. You know, as for me, well, let me back up. I guess it's going to come down to really, the whole thing is going to be a matter of perspective too when it comes to crime in Belize and is Belize safe? If you ask a lot of locals if Belize is safe, they're probably going to tell you no. But a lot of the locals that never leave Belize, all they know is the type of crimes that go on here. So for a lot of locals, the things that happen here are, you know, the end of the world type of stuff. It's absolutely not safe. I'm not going to say that I have not seen my share of, there's a big difference with policing in Belize between how a local is treated and how a foreigner, expat, or immigrant is treated. Absolutely. And I don't mind saying that because it's the truth. I've seen a lot of things that remind me when I was younger growing up in the States that, you know, put an end to it. But, you know, like I've said in a lot of these videos, Belize is actually waking up. Their government's starting to come around somewhat. There's been a lot more accountability with the police that are here. It's not the Wild West anymore. So it really depends on who you're asking if Belize is safe, because it's going to probably be a different answer depending on who you ask. For me, I feel absolutely safe in Belize. I don't go out looking for stuff, and you know, for the most part, I keep to myself, except the people that I interact with and meet here. I don't hide, of course, but Belize is absolutely, to me, and like I said, once again, in these videos, this is just my opinion. Belize is absolutely safe. You know, just the other day, there was another school shooting in Georgia. When I left Florida January 1st, 2018. And shortly after that, in the county I was living was that horrific school shooting that was in Florida. In the grand scheme of things, I can tell you firsthand, there's no school shootings in Belize. There's no mass shootings in Belize. You're not going to see people with AR-15s walking around. I mean, there's weapons in Belize. People have the right, if they're legal, to own firearms and protect themselves. You just have to go through the right channels and stuff. So it's not like you can't come here and own a firearm. You just got to do it the legal way. You know, I think Belize gets a bad rap being mixed in Central America as far as the crime. To be honest with you, I think Belize gets a really bad rap on its crime. And like I'm saying, there is crime here. There's home invasions that happen from time to time. You know, there's murders that happen from time to time. There's robberies that happen from time to time. There's fights that happen from time to time. But all of that stuff is in every country, every city, no matter where you go. But it's not a turn on the news and just complete onslaught of not only what's going on in the city that you're living in, but what's going on in the next city and the next state. And it's just crime in Belize. If you're from the United States of America, crime in Belize is going to make you chuckle if you stay here for a little while. And if you come from somewhere with a lot of crime, you'll understand why one murder in Belize to an American is no big deal. But to a Belizean, that's a big deal because it doesn't happen here that often. So when somebody loses their life in Belize because of a crime, it's a big deal to Belizeans because that doesn't happen all the time. So that's basically what I'm trying to say, is that it's all a matter of perspective. It's all a matter of where you come from. You know, one of the things that's happening in the States are people just getting numb to this. Like, you realize the United States has almost become, I remember when I was younger, when I was growing up, we had drills in our schools. Our drills were for tornadoes, getting underneath the desk in case of a severe storm. Man, these kids now, they prepare for shooters with AR-15s. It's another reason why I left. It's another reason why I love Belize. Like I said, you're not going to see that. But it's one of the main things that everybody asks is about crime. And if you really look at it, look at how many people are leaving every country, not just Belize, Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador. Look at how many people are leaving other countries to go to the States, and how much the crime is spiking in the States. And it's not just because, if you listen to everything, oh, it's a bunch of criminals. No, it's not. It's not all criminals. Sure, there's criminals mixed in there, but the majority are people that just want to go earn a decent living and have a better shot at something else. The crime rate increases because of the amount of people going. But even what's going on in Aurora, Colorado, you're not going to see that in Belize. Belize is, it's kind of like a live and let live country. And I truly believe that most of the crime that happens in Belize, most of the crime that you're going to hear about, is going to happen over money. Can't say too much, but most of the things that happen in Belize, most of the murders that happen in Belize, are absolutely going to have to deal with the transfer of money. Just like in every other major city or rural area in the United States. So let that fear down a little bit. I think, you know, for those of you that are really afraid to make a decision because of crime rate, I think you really need to get out of the US or wherever you're at for a little bit and just go live and experience something new. Meet locals, talk to locals. It's a completely different world. I feel safer here in Belize than I ever did in the areas in the US where I was growing up. Absolutely. The areas that I grew up in the United States and the areas that I lived in the United States before we packed up, sold everything, and moved to Belize absolutely had a 100% higher crime rate than here in Belize. Actually, I would say 200% higher crime rate than here in Belize. You know, Belize has one prison. One prison. Just the state of Florida alone has over 144 prisons throughout the entire state. That's just Florida. So think about that. Belize has one prison. That's it. And, you know, a lot of people think that it's the Wild West still, which it's not. And I think a lot of people have a misconception because you're in Belize that, you know, if something happens that people don't get caught for the crimes they commit. I got to be honest with you, that was one of the things that kind of dumbfounded me here is that they have a pretty high success rate on catching people who commit crimes here in Belize, especially with how wide open it is. That's actually what makes me scratch my head is they are able to catch and apprehend people that if it happened in the States, they'd probably get away with crimes like that because they would just never be found. So yes, Belize is safe. In my opinion, Belize is one of the safest countries in Central America, in my opinion. It's the less populated country in Central America. And it has some of the nicest people that I've met in my life. And it's also turning into a big melting pot. I did another video recently here where I was talking about the amount of people that are coming to Belize are not just Americans, Canadians, Europeans. People are coming from all over the world to come to Belize. And when they come here, they're not looking to do anything else other than have a start at life. You have to stop being afraid. Belize is safe. I mean, but then again, that's just my opinion. And like I said, it depends on who you ask. If you ask somebody here who has experienced crime, they're probably going to tell you that Belize is not safe. You know, another good thing is not to make yourself a target. You have to keep in mind that a lot of people, when you come over here, they automatically think that you have money just because you're over here. If you're able to travel, if you're able to leave your home country and go somewhere else, then you must have money. You must have money, you must be rich. But people that think that way, when I meet them, what I tell them is, well, when I was back in my country and somebody immigrated into my country, I didn't automatically think that they were rich. I never once thought that about somebody who was migrating to the United States. I never met somebody who had just been there for 3 months and went, man, you must be here because you're rich, because you have a lot of money. No, you want a better life. I said, I'm not rich. I came here for a better life. I was able to buy my land, build my house, put up solar, rely on rainwater for less than what probably a brand new Honda Accord would cost you in the States. And I don't regret it. So don't be afraid. Don't believe everything you hear. Experience it for yourself. Do your research. Don't believe everything you see on Facebook. Really do your research on places, and you find out, especially if you go stay somewhere for a little while. Ooh, it's starting to rain and clouds are getting dark. If you go stay somewhere for a little while, you'll understand what I'm trying to say when I say that Belize is 100% safer than anywhere I've ever been back in my home country, the United States of America. And man, it's getting bad over there. Whew. It is getting bad. So yeah, every time somebody from the US asks me, well, should I move over there? Is it safe? How are you doing over there? Is it safe? Have you been robbed yet? Have you? Come on. You're asking about leaving because of the economy and crime. So I don't know. Some things still just surprise me. So yes, get out, explore. There's so many different places to visit in this world. You're not always going to find bad, and you're not always going to run into bad. But like I said, no matter where you go in this world, it doesn't matter what country you go, what city, wherever you go in this world, you're going to find some type of crime. But I can guarantee you this: if you're coming from the US to Belize, you are not going to find the type of crime in Belize that you are used to experiencing in the US. So there it is. Belize is absolutely safe, in my opinion. And this is where I live. And I leave the lights on. You know, like that old Red Roof commercial. Not for anybody that wants to come over, but that's all I do. I just leave lights on. You know, I protect myself in the ways that I can. Like I said, don't make yourself a target, but be smart as well. You know, you always got to be proactive. So, all right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great weekend. I got some more videos coming out for you. The next one's going to be on what the actual cost was and walking around the house and showing you guys all that. So, have a blessed one, everyone.